Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube segment, what I want to talk about, I'm going to give you my Facebook.com review. It's really just talking about a few things on Facebook and sharing my thoughts about the website. Now, overall, I love Facebook, enamored with it because, I'm able to post my videos on it and I could promote them by doing so. And even I have an opportunity on my Facebook fan page where I can actually promote the page and get more, it could help get some more additional exposure for me. And also it's an opportunity to connect with others. And even though a lot of the connections may be superficial or even seen as frivolous, you can make some deep connections on there. So there are manifold things on Facebook that are very good. The one thing though that I didn't I had a recent experience with Facebook that I didn't really like or appreciate was it was something connected with a fundraiser I had started for somebody. And what happened was somebody made a very magnanimous donation to this fundraiser. And what happened was the person had apparently had withdrew the money, gotten a refund on the money that was deposited initially from this person. But what happened was Facebook did not update the status of that fundraiser in real time. It still gave the impression that that deposit was made and that that fundraiser had reached X amount of dollars due to the deposit that the person made, and it didn't update it in real time as far as that withdrawal of that deposit goes, if you understand what I'm saying. So what happened was, I had to contact Facebook because I couldn't figure out why the money, had hit reach about 6 business days, and that's usually about the maximum I would say it would take for money connected with the donation to be deposited into your account. Now, and when I inquired with Facebook about them, they initially had experienced some technical difficulties, so I think it was at least an hour delay that I had in getting into contact with them about this issue. And when it was finally resolved, they told me that the person had received a refund on this money that was deposited into that had initially was going to be deposited into my account. But on the Facebook fundraiser, it still reflected that the money had been actually deposited, and that goal had been met, and it never stated on the fundraiser. There was no update on it at this time where it stated that that money had been refunded, and it should have actually read $0 in the fundraiser as opposed to whatever it read. So that's really the main one of the main concerns I have with Facebook at this time. I think their support system probably needs some improvement, and also matters with the fundraisers need to have some improvement as well. So the status of the fundraisers, if there is a refund that goes back to somebody for that initially made a deposit into that fundraiser, it needs to be shown immediately, very shortly upon this, because I had the wrong impression and had a false sense of security that this money had actually was going to at some point be deposited into my account for a friend that I was making this fundraiser for. So that's really my main qualm that I have with Facebook. And another thing too is what the one thing that bothers me is that, it takes a lot, I believe, for something to be taken down in on Facebook. In other words, if somebody puts something that you think is slanderous or is something where it's very derisive towards somebody, where you feel it's some kind of something harassing, they a lot of times will not take it down even after you reported. Because I had somebody that had put a video up about me. Well, actually, it wasn't just pertaining to me, it was about me and some other people. And I had reported it to Facebook, and I thought, I thought it was something where it would be justified in removing the video. And they said that the person was not liable for anything, that the person was that video was not violating any of Facebook's regulations or policies or what have you. So the problem is like Facebook with in like even like YouTube, it takes so much to get something removed, and that might be very derogatory about somebody and even slanderous. It's almost as if social media in general, I get the impression that in a lot of instances they almost care more. It seems like they care more about their viewership, their activity, the videos being up on these sites, as opposed to the actual safety and security, sadly, of the people, of others. And that really should not take precedence over that. That should be really the safety about others, and really about people that are being harassed by others on social media should really be very important. And they could say, and maybe in some cases they show that it is very important, but in a lot of instances, like in my case, I don't feel like they did. It takes a lot to get some kind of post or video removal by Facebook. I mean, it almost seems like it would have to be something of a volatile nature, like somebody threatening somebody with some kind of physical violence, in order to have something get taken down. And what people have to understand too is that Facebook, despite its many advantages, there are things that can be detrimental to social media in general. Has set up a lot of issues for people. And there was one time, I believe it was on Facebook, where somebody had posted where they were going to pick their child up and what time they were going to pick them. They stated the location, and they stated I guess the time they were going to pick the child up. And as a result, a stranger had apparently seen this post, and what happened was the stranger saw it and picked the child up, abducted the child, and I believe took the child into another country. And now, probably what happened was that person that made the post had their post set on public. And if you have it on public, I mean, you're setting yourself up for a lot of danger. I know a lot of people like to have things set on public because it gets them more exposure, and sometimes people want others to see the post. They could bring in more friends and more contacts this way, and more activity on their post if they have their posts set on public. Now, I have on my Facebook fan page, I have my posts are set on public, and I don't even know how to. I mean, I've not honestly figured out if there was a way to set them on private and just have the people that are actually my fans that have liked the page be able to see my posts. So that is something that I would have to look into. But the thing about it is, if you have, like, say, something on your regular page, and most of you probably just have regular pages, your regular account profile pages on Facebook, I think it's imperative to keep it on private if you can. By all means do so, unless, I mean, some people feel compelled to have it set on public if they got some kind of business going on with it. So that's basically what I wanted to get at. And overall, I do like Facebook. I'm sure it has more advantages than disadvantages, but you have to, I mean, understand that, like all websites and all things in life, and practically, there's always need for some kind of modification or improvement that needs to be done in connection with it. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment for my Facebook review. And if I'm going to give it a rating, I'll give Facebook overall, I'll give it 4 stars out of 5. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment for my Facebook review. And until next time, people, Edwin Learned saying, stay well.